Hey all, Grolo here. Before I say anything else, I want to warn you that watching this video will spoil any big reveal on the MISC Fortune, if there's any left. I don't know. These videos and images and everything have been circling around for quite a while now. But if you want to savor it, don't watch this. Close it now. I'll give you a second. Okay. So I came across this video that gives a full walkthrough of the MISC Fortune. I'm sure some of you have seen it by now too. And we talked about the Fortune on this channel a few days ago. And at the time, there was still some conjecture on the size, role, how it compares to the Vulture, etc. So this video puts all that to bed. So let's roll it. All right, so we're starting here. This Fortune parked on a moon. We're looking at the front of it. Let's go ahead and roll the video. Looks a lot like a prospector. One thing right off the bat, though, is this contraption on the side. This is what a lot of people have been talking about. The external grid for storing salvage boxes, and this thing looks like the ejector here. Looks like in between you got the conveyor belts that would move, like, so the boxes come out of this thing and presumably go onto this first square, and then the conveyor belts move them between the squares somehow so that this thing can just continuously be ejecting boxes without the pilot having to get out of the seat and go back and manage them like they do in the Vulture. I think I've also heard that this will put out 2 boxes at a time. You can kind of see like the 2 squares there. Or maybe I'm just imagining this, but this is what I've heard and what I understand. So the idea is like 2 boxes would come out of here and be stacked on this, and then they would kind of migrate their way around somehow. I don't know what it looks like, but if that's true, then you would have 6 times 2 is just 12, and then this thing does this on both sides, so you would have 24 SCU on the outside, plus whatever was in the internal buffer. Now, it's interesting. When I consider like the software and programming going on behind this conveyor belt system, a few things cross my mind. They've previously kind of railed against bespoke things. Bespoke, oh my gosh, my words. Bespoke efforts were listed as a reason, for example, for not doing the Banu Merchantman, which got backburnered, which makes sense. Like, why would you put effort into one thing that would yield one ship or one feature or one product? You know, if we want to generalize this more, whenever you could put effort into another thing that would be potentially reused in many products, many features. And so I ask myself, where else might this system be used? Like, where else might they need conveyor belts and the ability to kind of move boxes around automatically? Right? Like, box coming out onto here and then going here. Actually how it's going to go, but like, yeah, I just immediately started thinking that, like, are there other ships, like especially MISC ships, where this would be a thing? Might we see some of this on like a Hull B, for example? I don't know. Or non-ship things. Like, one of the things that jumped out to me was underground facilities. I don't know if you remember, but I feel like, and I might be making this up, but I feel like at least some of the concept art, or whenever they're doing like the walkthroughs on stage of some of these things, like, I feel like I remember seeing like some kind of a belt or a conveyor belt in those things. I could be wrong, I don't know, but like, it would be interesting if that's the case and they're kind of working on conveyor type systems and like have it ready enough for the ship, and maybe some down the road we'll see it in something new like a base or whatever. Or maybe it is a bespoke system, and they're okay spending the time on this bespoke system. I don't know, but I'm leaning towards this might connect to the larger picture in some way. I really like the that they've taken the like the iconic style at this point. It's iconic, I think, of the Prospector, and adapted it. There's clearly a lot of differences here, but it maintains that look, you know, that invokes like familiarity, comfort. If you spend any amount of time in a Prospector, like I have, like there's comfort here, but like at the same time, like curiosity. Like I look at this and I'm like, it's just different enough that I'm wondering about it. So anyway, pretty cool. Let's keep going. Get rid of that. Now we're on the back of this thing. Other side there, you can see the other same contraption system on the other side. Same ejector, same grid. That's cool. Okay, now we're on the back. We're going up the elevator, which is interesting. Whoa, what is that? What is that? Oh yeah, I love the prominent MISC logo there. Stands out nice. You know me, big MISC fan here, so I love the prominence of that. All right, so we're moving forward. Looks like a little bit of a component room here. I don't get jazzed up over components or anything, but looks like they're laid out fine. Okay, what's this? Okay, so here's the salvage console, similar to what the Vulture has. Looks like it can craft. Pyro multi-tool, probably all the same stuff. It's cool. Wonder where it comes out. Oh wait, what's this? What the heck's an SRT canister or a fuse? Can we craft those now? I don't know. I honestly, like, it's been a while since I looked at the crafting console on the Vulture or the Reclaimer. I usually play different roles in the ops, so I haven't looked at one of these screens in a while. I'm wondering if any of this is new. That's the same old shit. More engineering stuff. Nice. Oh, okay. What's that? There's the bed. That I'll be too afraid to use. I don't know. This stuff works for me like 30% of the time. I feel like maybe I'm just scarred from 318 days. Back in 318, I logged off in my bed one time, and I couldn't get back into the game for 6 months. I don't know if it actually had anything to do with bed logging. Probably not. 318 was a damn mess, but you know, our minds make connections, and so I'll own that. I'm definitely afraid. I'm going to back up here just a minute. I saw something. They moved past really quick. This is cool. In this part of the hallway, being able to kind of see out to where the boxes will be stored. This feels very very MISC, very like functional, pragmatic. Like be able to walk back here, look out, and just kind of see the status of the shit. Because you never know. I mean, it's Star Citizen. You'll probably have boxes out there bouncing around and being spit off the thing. It'll definitely be helpful to come back here and make sure that you're not losing your cargo. mean, it's cool how functional this stuff has got. Remember when ships came out, they weren't always quite that functional. Okay, we jumped ahead. Looks like we're in the pilot area now. We're looking back to the area we were just walking up through. So there's the pilot chair. Yeah. Pretty good visibility. Yeah, I like that. That looks definitely reminds me a lot of the chair and the prospector and how that's laid out. Playing with buttons. Great. Yeah, we got the alarm there. Nice. The door can lock, maybe. That's what they're showing. Turning off lights. Nice. While we're playing with all these buttons. But okay. I got sirens everywhere. Great. I don't know what to think about the rear elevator. Like, what is the point of this, I wonder? I don't know if there's like extra storage capacity back there. Like, could you fit a few more boxes in the back by bringing them up the elevator? I'm not sure. Because I'm pretty sure when we were standing out front of it, it had the side door right next to the pilot seat, like the prospector has. Kind of curious, like, what the functional use of this rear elevator is. If you know, leave me a comment. I'd love to. I don't see a cargo grid there, but maybe I'm missing it. Or maybe the elevator is the grid. You could put that thing down and put a few boxes on it and bring it up, maybe. I could see that being kind of useful. I don't know. Drop me a comment if you know what it's for. Wait. Yeah, you definitely. This is the elevator part. I'm not sure. Let's go back and look at the beginning. Still missing the flights. Okay. Alright, we're flying. Cool. Looks like it has VTOL. Like those will rotate down. Which makes sense, especially if you're salvaging on a planetary surface. All right. I was kind of hoping to get a view of what it looked like from the pilot seat. But again, it looks a lot like the prospector. So I imagine like when you're sitting in the seat looking out, it's got to look a lot the same. So I mean, the prospector has great visibility, so I would expect this is going to have some pretty strong visibility as well. It also definitely looks like we get the traditional side door here that I love about MISC. It's one of the reasons I'm so drawn to MISC ships. Like the time to seat is very fast whenever you're out of the ship and you want to get in it, or at least it feels like it to me. You know, like it just feels faster. Even you might be able to time coming up the rear and running to the front. Maybe it's almost as fast just because of the climbing animation. But you know what? Like, it doesn't matter. Perception is reality on this stuff. Kind of like whenever you have your favorite route somewhere and a friend is like, dude, you could shave 30 seconds by making this tweak to your route. And you're like, you know what? You do it your way. I'll do it mine. Anyway, ship looks cool. I think a lot of people were hoping for something bigger. Honestly, I was expecting something a little bigger, but I also, like I said in the last video, I want a lot of options on the industrial side for similar roles, like we have on the combat side. And this, as far as I know, is like the very first time we're seeing that on the industrial side. This and the Vulture seem like two offerings for the same role, with two styles and potentially two sets of trade-offs. No, I think a lot of people may look at this and think this design is just clearly superior, but I'm not so sure. When you look at something like the Hall A, which has 64 SCU of storage on the outside, and you compare it to something like the C1 with the same amount of storage on the inside, they're better at different things. Like the exterior storage is nice, but sometimes you want it enclosed. There's more flexibility with the enclosed model. If you wanted to, you could probably park an STV in the back of a Vulture, right? It's got that Drake ruggedness and like the Drake versatility in that way. Like with this thing, you have no flexibility. You're ejecting salvage boxes onto the external storage grid, and that's just what you're doing. You're not going to park an STV in the back of this thing. Now the salvage head on this thing does look largish. I've heard it's a size 3 compared to the Vulture's 2 size 2s. So I don't know what that means. I guess I would suspect this thing will scrape faster. And actually, I wonder, can this thing break down ships once it's done scraping them? The Vulture has that configuration in the front that kind of says, I bring things in here and I munch them. And the big boy Reclaimer obviously has the claw. But I see nothing on this ship that says, here's where the munching happens. I realize that right now munching is just more beam gameplay. But still, I'd expect the ship to visually look like it could munch, right? Like, so maybe that's a trade-off here. Like the pilot has to get out of the seat less, but maybe it can't munch. But maybe because of the size 3 salvage head, it strips faster. I don't know. Those would be kind of cool trade-offs, though, I think. Like, and the kind of things that would make like choosing between various industrial ships interesting, aside from just the style. I mean, if you think about it, you're making those types of decisions and trade-offs on the combat side as well. So I think that's cool. Now, clearly this thing may be a little more efficient for the solo operator. Maybe. I don't know. I know some Vulture pilots, especially with the change to the buffer size, whenever they made that, that can operate those things very efficiently. I don't see a super slam dunk here on one versus the other. Aside from, we just see a cool new gizmo, which is the conveyor belt system, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh, new shiny ship, new shiny like a spoke conveyor belt thing." But I think once that wears off and the newness in general wears off, I think we'll see the right kind of debate. And when people were kind of deciding which one to fly. Now, personally, like I'm MISC for life. I've said that ever since maybe before that. Like I've always, like, the moment I logged in this game, started looking at like all the different ships and on the website, I'm like looking at all the different brands. I've just been drawn to MISC just for like that pragmatism that echoes from it for me. So I'll definitely fly this thing. But Drake's not losing a customer because I never really flew a Vulture, a few times. But if I'm being honest, I probably won't fly this thing all that much either. Like I'll be more of it'll be more of a collector's item for me. Parked somewhere alongside all my other MISC ships. Kind of like my my uncle's Mustang collection in real life. Seriously, he has an awesome Mustang collection. That's how I feel in this game with my MISC. But yeah, I know a lot of people find salvage relaxing and enjoy scraping and all the stuff, around that. I get into it sometimes, but it's pretty rare for me. For the most part, it's just it's not my cup of tea, What I do get very much excited about, though, is salvage operations, where we take a bunch of folks out to make some money, and we practice our approach to lots of industry ships working in unison. with security involved and all that. Like that's the fun part for me. Like these big, large, organized group activities. Now in our org, we run these kind of salvage ops fairly routinely. This is also on the screen here. And whenever we run these, we usually run a bunch of vultures, some haulers, just to practice that in-space handoff and keeping our resource extractors in the field as long as possible. Now, the way I see these misfortunes impacting these operations is, we often put 2 people in a vulture, one to manage the beams and constantly be scraping while the other one is managing everything else, the boxes in the back, getting them over to the haulers, that kind of stuff. Now, sometimes we have a person operate a vulture by themselves, but a lot of time it's 2 per ship. Now, with this MISC Fortune, it's clearly a 1 person per salvage ship, right? And then you would have on the cargo hauler side, you would have them plucking boxes off the sides of the Fortunes. We often run with Caterpillars as the cargo ships, and that could still work, though the tractor beam on that thing sucks. You'd be better off with dock workers and some hand beams, plucking stuff off the side of the MISC Fortune. Some other ships could work, but they'd have a lot less cargo space. Things like the C1 has that external tractor beam it could use to load from the Fortune to the C1, but that C1 only has like 64 SCU. The Zeus CL will be another one at double the capacity, 128. Even the Taurus, the hauler version of the Taurus, has a beam that you could probably use pretty effectively to pull stuff off and load onto its cargo deck. Taurus comes in at like 176 SCU. None of them are really Caterpillar level material, but they don't necessarily need to be if you're doing enough runs. Even 2 haulers service a lot of ships that way. But it's a little ironic that MISC, being kind of the king of transportation and industry, there's no ship to manage this well from MISC yet. With like matching external storage and some kind of a tractor beam to pull off of another ship like the Fortune and put it onto this. A Hull C could do it, but selling from that thing right now would be painful. You'd be limited to the geostationary orbital stations, which last I checked, they have a much lower demand, lower prices for this stuff. So maybe the Hull B, whenever that thing comes out, maybe that'll fit into this sweet spot. Or maybe the Hull C would fill the role better once we're carting this stuff back to like our own space stations, post 1.0, for crafting and stuff like that, instead of just selling to the highest bidder for credits. I wish the Argo Raft was good at a role like this. I love the Argo Raft, but that rear tractor beam is still missing, and I guess they did make it so you could put smaller boxes on the thing now. You don't have to have the big long cargo containers, but it just looks weird. I feel like they just need to refactor that ship and make the back like an upside down magnetic pickup bed or something. I love everything else about the ship except for the way you attach cargo to it right now. But yeah, overall, that's how I see the MISC Fortune impacting our operations and org play. I see it as another ship in the salvage fleet, not the only one. I expect we're going to run a mix of it and the Vulture. It'll probably really be up to the pilot's preference, which one is exactly the right tool for the job, which is, how it should be. Especially considering there may be trade-offs between them, like we talked about. But even if it's just on the style alone, see it still mattering. Style matters to pilots, matters to me. And I think all these same considerations will be true for solo play too. I know when I'm flying solo, style is even a more important consideration than whenever I'm flying as part of a team. Bigger part of the equation. And again, especially like, if the vulture could munch, but the fortune can't. I mean, all those things are gonna make it so that we're flying like a combination of these things, which I think would be cool and good, and I hope that's the direction they're headed. But that's all I got on the Fortune. I'm really glad you all took the time to check it out with me. I'm eager to see whether what looks like a bespoke system on this thing proves not to be in the future as other things come online, or if indeed it proves to be. Like, where else might we see kind of automated cargo box moving via conveyor belts or whatever. And I'm definitely pumped to see the greater variety of ships and industrial loops. That's been a long time coming. Speaking of industrial loops, or security gameplay, or medical, financial, whatever you're into, we need it all over at Luminous. So if you're looking for a home in the verse, head over to unhinged.gg or luminous.gg. Both links will be in the description below. Follow links to Discord. Give me a shout in there. I'd love to see you on one of these operations. You don't even have to join. I mean, these operations are open to everybody. We have people from outside New York coming and joining us on these things too. Or I'd love to fly something smaller scale with you too. Let's continue the conversation in Discord. And with that, I'm going to leave you with this little clip of us doing some salvage a few nights ago. I found it comical. Maybe you will too. Enjoy and take care.
Advised, I am taking some camera shot from above the vultures. Please do not move up suddenly.
Don't take many pictures of me. I have.
This box is still broken. That's sitting right here.
Okay, I put it into the stack, or should I?
Yeah. Put it into the stack, please, if you can.
Okay.
Let me get one more on top of this one here, and then put it on top of it. Because sometimes that also breaks the cargo grid when you do that.
Okay, I can't. No, I can move. Yeah, this is my own box and probably some property bullshit going on.
Yeah,
so,
perfect.
On top.
Oh, look how this is stacks. What the fuck is going on over here?
I'm good at
What
parking,
the
not
hell am I
stacking.
looking at? Who
I'm gonna
stacked
move
this?
directly forward.
Who's responsible for this shit?
Yeah, that was it. I'm not gonna say names. No snitching. No snitching.
Unacceptable. No,
Hey,
that's
the important part is that it's all on grid.
No, it's not. There's nothing on this grid. Fix that immediately.
Gentlemen, can I present you the normal state of a typical UPS container?
I believe it.